All right. She's called games across multiple sports on radio and TV. She's the voice of the Philadelphia 76ers, going to be calling World Cup action this summer for the women. Welcome to the show, Kate Scott. Kate, so glad we can get some time with you today.
Same here. It's great to see you guys. Thanks for having me on.
You know, Kate, we were going to start with World Cup, but we're going to start with Sixers first today.
Uh-oh.
Before we get to your thoughts on the Sixers, what has it been like for you to take over the role that you have with the Sixers and become the voice of the city?
Oh, I'm still pinching myself, Jeff. Every time I hear somebody say that, I still don't believe it. And it has been truly better than I ever could have imagined it being. I knew it was going to be a huge mountain to climb, taking over for a legend born and raised in Philly like Mark Zumoff. And as you guys, I'm sure know, he has been such a supporter of mine behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, all over the place. I mean, I knew it was going to be hard, and fans, understandably, as I expected them to be, were hard the first number of months I was here. But they've come around a lot quicker than I expected them to. And Philly feels like home already after 2 seasons. I'm so excited about season 3. And I also can't believe that we're already in season 3. So yeah, it's been wonderful. And I can't wait for this fall.
It seems like you embraced replacing Zumoff coming in, and the passion that you bring to calling a game seems to kind of fit in with the city. What's the reaction been like? You've talked about how you expected it to be a process to be accepted.
Oh, no, you are not allowed to use the word process.
I don't believe I actually used that,
No,
because
I
I
said
knew
that,
that as soon as I said that, people were going to be like, go back to California, you idiot. But yeah, I knew regardless of who took over for Mark Zumoff, it was going to be a while, and it was going to be a journey, because he was the voice for 27 years. And you guys know, he was with the team for 40. So he was so many different generations of Sixers fans person when they thought of the Sixers. So regardless, change, even if it was another white dude from Philly who took over for him, it was going to be a change. And all of a sudden, as I've said in a lot of interviews, here's this gay chick from California, like, what's up, Sixers fans? How's it going, y'all? Let's go. But I know from being a first in a lot of places before I got here in Philly, you can't tell people to accept you. And I knew that it was going to be a massive change, because I'm sure a lot of Sixers fans had never heard a woman call anything, period. And now all of a sudden it's a female voice calling their beloved Sixers. Like, whoa, that would make my brain explode. So I knew all I had to do was be myself and do the work each and every day. I knew that I was going to get more and more comfortable with each broadcast, and that hopefully over time people would soften in their stance to the newbie and understand that my excitement, as you mentioned, like, this is just me all the time. And I know for some people it's still a lot. But the folks at NBC, that's what they wanted, obviously. Same with the Sixers. They know that we're moving kind of into a new generation when it comes to broadcasters. And they were like, look, we love your energy. We know some people are going to give you a hard time about it, but just keep being you, settle in. We're hoping this is a long-term thing. So deal with the struggles of the first couple of seasons. And yeah, that's just another reason excited for season 3.
You know, the one thing is, it doesn't seem like there was a learning curve with you and Ala.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know Ala beforehand, and how easy was it for you two to develop a rapport?
Oh, thank you for saying that. No, I did not know Allah at all. I didn't even audition with Allah because he was sick the day I auditioned, which of course, me being an overanalyzer, I was like, oh shit, this dude doesn't want me to be his partner. He's not even coming to the audition. But no, he was really sick actually. So I auditioned with Mark Jackson, and Mark and I are buds now, obviously, since that day. But you never know, because I've called, as you mentioned, so many different sports with so many different analysts and partners. And if you're lucky, you just click with them. And other times they're professional, you're professional, and you do the best job of faking it on air. But with Allah, literally the moment I met him at the Sixers practice facility, 5 minutes in, I thought, oh my gosh, again, I am so lucky. I had no idea who this guy was going to be. And I could tell instantly that there was going to be a connection between us. So I'm so glad that that's coming out over the air. And I know that it's just going to get better and better. I mean, we went to a ball game. We went to a Phil's game a couple of weeks ago with our ladies. And so we're truly friends on and off the air, and probably spend way too much time talking on flights. I'm like, it's 3 a.m., but I got to finish this board and go to bed. This is a back-to-back. Like, stop telling me about those days when you were playing in Portland. But yeah, really lucky and excited to see how that continues to grow too.
Those are probably fun stories that you get to hear, though.
They're so fun.
Talk about this journey that you're on, though. Now, all of a sudden, I mean, you've had a wild ride here for the first 2 years. All of a sudden, the Sixers are making lots of changes in their organization. So, talk to us about what you're seeing with your broadcaster hat on now as you prep for year 3 with
Mhm.
lots of changes that probably won't look a lot like it did in year 1 and 2.
Yeah, this is as my now retired producer, JR Aquila, who was producing the Sixers broadcast for 40 years. Love you, JR, said, my rookie hazing is now complete. He's like, you've officially had your heart broken by a Philadelphia sports team. We
Yes.
all, as I'm sure you guys saw, they had the talent. They had the talent to get past the C's. Obviously, they didn't. Sports, #sports. But I experienced this every 4 years at the collegiate level, which is what I was calling a lot before I came here. So yeah, this is my first taste of pro sports when you don't make it as far as you wanted, even though it was a successful season in some people's eyes. And that means everybody's out, new coaching staff, all the time and relationships that you spent time building over the past couple of years. See ya. And now you got to start fresh again. So I think it was good for me because this is the life of a professional sports broadcaster. You got to get used to those changes. And yeah, I'm very intrigued. I mean, I'm almost done reading Nick Nurse's book. He was the coach out of all the really good free agent coaches that were out there this offseason that I was hoping the Sixers would get just because of the way his team seemed to really frustrate Joel Embiid and the Sixers. It's kind of that if you can't beat them, join them sort of thing, even though I know we knocked him off in my first year, but so I'm very intrigued to see what he and the people he brings in and whatever players are here when the season tips off in October, to see what this next iteration of the Sixers looks like.
Okay, you've got all of this energy and all this positivity, and you said you've now experienced Philadelphia sports. Jason
Yeah.
can tell. Jason can talk about it more than anybody. The constant heartbreak.
I was shaped by the pain, Kate.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what I try to tell people, and I know it's different because it was in a different city, but the teams that I grew up cheering for broke my heart over and over again. Like I'll never forget where I was in 2002 when my San Francisco Giants were going to win their first World Series since moving from Brooklyn. And then Dusty comes out and takes the ball from Russ Ortiz. And now the rally monkeys go like, you know, I had my heart broken by the Giants. I grew up cheering for the 49ers. I had my heart broken by them a number of times growing up. I hate the Dallas Cowboys, just like you guys do.
We're there with you.
I hate well, that's been the fun thing. Like so many of the teams I hated growing up, we hate here in Philadelphia too. So that's been a very easy.
Now that makes you a Philadelphian.
Right?
Hating
like,
other sports teams.
Hated. I was like, wait, I get to say Dallas sucks here too. This is awesome. I hated the Giants. I hated the Cowboys. This is great.
We sell T-shirts with that on it.
I know. And people have been like, now, Kate, you're the voice of a team. Maybe you need to say like Dallas stinks because some kids are looking up to you. Maybe using sucks isn't. I'm like, okay.
This is Philadelphia. You can say Dallas sucks. Did you not hear what Chase Utley said when they won the World Series?
Oh, I heard it. So yeah, this I had my heart broken a number of times growing up, but I think there is something different when that's one of my favorite parts of sports, the collective experience, right? So the fact that I got to have my heart broken along with so many Sixers fans, I feel like even more people accepted me after that. They were like, see, they got her hopes up too and smashed him to bits, and now she's depressed. So Kate, you're one of us now. Come on in.
Did you, when you got here, you said that there was a little backlash. What did you attribute the backlash to? Did you think that it was just taking over from a legend, or did you feel any of the backlash? Hopefully the answer is no, but feel any backlash because of your background?
Yeah, I think it was mostly just because I was new and a different voice. And I think a very small bit of the backlash was because of who I am. But I tried very honestly and candidly to explain on social media that that's not a Philadelphia thing, because I've done firsts in a lot of stops before here. Now, granted, it wasn't on a long-term basis. You know, it was calling an NHL game for NBC. It was calling some 49ers games. It was being the first woman on sports radio in San Francisco. But all those experiences helped teach me that Yeah, it's you, but it's really just what you represent and the fact that you're a different voice, and that change is really hard for everybody, not just in sports, like in anything. Think about moving to a new house, think about going to a new school, think about playing for a new team. It's just hard because it's uncomfortable and it's different. So I think that the majority of that was, I wasn't Mark Zumoff. And I know that there's still people who feel that way. And again, getting back to what I said earlier, I completely understand that. Sorry, not sorry that I'm who I am, but even Zoo told me, he's like, Kate, if they wanted another Zoo, they would have hired another bald dude with glasses, but they hired a chick with glasses, so they wanted you, so be you. So
Well, at
I
least you both had glasses.
Yeah, you're all. So, you talk about the first. You're the only woman that's done play-by-play for the NFL, NHL, NBA, college football, and the Olympics. Have you processed the barriers that you're breaking as you go through this, or just kind of look back and it's like, hey, I did that, cool?
And are you done with sports, or are you going to do pickleball next?
Oh yeah, totally. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious that you bring that up. One of the young women I mentored actually has started calling pickleball.
Get out.
But no, I mean, Jason, I haven't. I try to slow down occasionally because my friends and family tell me to, like, Kate, look at what you've done. But I'm not here talking to you guys, calling Sixers games, getting ready to do the World Cup. If I was that person, I think if I sat back and I was like, yeah, look at me, look at all I've accomplished, because it's always, okay, what's the next thing? Because I love getting better as a broadcaster. I love challenging myself. I love saying, okay, that's what I've done. What can I do next? And a big part of it is just because that's who I am. And I love what I do. And I think just like athletes and coaches, you always want to get better and keep challenging yourself and see what the next step is you can take. But also, it's so important to me to make as much change in this industry as I can before I hang up the microphone, because I've seen so much change in the 20 years since I started. Just seeing those of us calling and covering sports reflecting more and more the athletes who play our sports, the people who cheer for the sports, and just trying to do the best to show the people who are doing the hiring, the people who are watching and listening to sports, that if you work really hard and are prepared, just like all the Zoos before me, and like you guys, like all the white guys that I've worked with, I'm not here without you. I love working with you, but we can take the same steps that you all have, and then hopefully be prepared and ready for that opportunity. And that's been the most important thing to me. And I try to preach that, like, you never want to just hire someone because they're a chick, because you're setting them up for failure. They have to be prepared and ready for that opportunity, because oftentimes you have to be better than somebody else who might have gotten it because of all the outside of the sport calling stuff that you have to do. So yeah, it is wild. I haven't wrapped my head around it. Sometimes I've had to think about it a lot because I've been doing a lot of interviews recently, and it's like, man, no wonder I'm so tired. No wonder it was hard to get out of bed, because I've worked really hard, but I'm really happy to be here and really excited about what the future holds.
And you mentioned being a mentor. I mean, we talk to athletes a lot about using the platform that they have, and here you are being able to pay it forward, trying to be that role model and mentor that you were looking for as you were getting into the sport. What does that side of it mean to you? Not just the barriers you break, but the people you're bringing along with you who now will be able to succeed because they're working through you, with you, around you, with people.
Yeah. I think that's another indicator that I'm getting old, and I kind of love it. Like, I was always the young kid. I was always about 10 years younger than everybody I was working with. And some switch flipped in the last like 2 years. And all of a sudden I'm working, I call them my minis or my minions, and they're just kind of around. But it is so important to me, because I get so much joy seeing other people reach their dreams. And it's crazy to me already how much the industry, as I mentioned, has changed. I've been in it now over 20 years, but in the last 10 years, especially, like I was mentoring a ton of young men when it came to play-by-play. And over the last 5 years, so many women have started coming to me saying, I played a collegiate sport and I've been doing analyst work, but I'm interested in play-by-play. Can we talk about it? Can we get into that? So that gives me so much joy. But yeah, I mentor everybody, men, women, everybody in between, because I just really want to support young people who really love this, are really kind. Those are the important things to me, are going to put in the work, because this is a really difficult job because so many people want to do it. I'm getting paid to call the events that so many people are paying to be at themselves, to attend. And that's what I try to remind the young kids that I'm mentoring. And yeah, they're starting to move up in the industry, and their wins bring me so much joy because it means that we're all doing something right. So I don't have any kids of my own, but I feel like I have kids all over the country who are slowly working their way up, whether it be in play-by-play or analyst work or sideline work or anchoring. So it's been really cool to keep an eye on the next generation.
You know, we've talked to many of your colleagues, including Kate Fagan. How important is it to have that community of women commentators or women in sports, so that we get to a point where it's just second hat, that it's not a big deal, that there's so many of you that it's just part of the sport?
Yeah, it's so important to have that community. And I don't know if you all can see it, but I have one of Kate's many books behind me on the bookshelf. She's one of my best friends. Kate's Stick Together, not just because of our names, but that's been another really cool change that I've seen over about the past decade. And I know that other groups of women are doing this in their respective areas and states, but I got to be very close with a number of women at the Pac-12 network, which was one of my main gigs before I moved out to Philly a couple of years ago. And we had all had difficult times finding female mentors when we were starting about 20 years ago, because the industry was telling us there can only be one of you and you're all competing for one job. So that impacted a bunch of us. And we realized now that we were starting to be the people who the next generation was looking to, we really wanted to flip that and show the next generation of young women that we are doing this together and there is space for all of us, and you just have to be good and support each other and doors will open. So that's been really cool. And then moving back here to Philly, you guys already know so many of the most famous women when it comes to sports broadcasting, Leslie Visser and Susie Colbert and Lisa Salters and Andrea Kramer and Beth Mowins, like they're all from around here somewhere. And it's been really important to me since my career started, and even more so now that it's gained some visibility, to make all of those women proud, because they're the ones who really had to put up with the shit, as we'll say. Like, it was hard for them to do their jobs because sometimes the players and coaches they were trying to cover didn't want anything to do with them. So when I now talk about some online hate, you know, whereas all the players and coaches I'm covering come up to me and tell me, you know, what do you need? Anything I can do to help you succeed, Kate. So yeah, it just gets back to that community, trying to pay it forward with the next generation coming up, trying to make the generation that came before me proud, and trying to tie it all together too. It's a lot. I obviously think about this way too much, but yeah, it's really important to me, so that hopefully, Jeff, in a few years, it'll just be, who's the best broadcaster for this? Yes, they sound great. We're really excited to have them here.
Well, in the meantime, since our hearts were broken by the Sixers losing, you decided, you know what? I don't need a summer vacation.
No.
So instead of taking a summer vacation, you decide, you know what? Let's go do some World Cup games.
Oh.
What are you looking forward to most in that?
Jeff, I'm stupid is what it comes down to. We were talking before we came on air, but I'll say it on air. My wife's been telling me I'm stupid for a number of years, and now just proving it again. Yes, just like Tyrese Maxey and Joel are back in the lab, I am back in the lab this summer as well. But yeah, I grew up playing soccer. I thought when I was a young girl that I was going to be the next star of the U.S. women's national team. I was actually in the Rose Bowl in '99 when they kind of shifted the sports world for women. And I thought, that's going to be me. I'm going to be sporting the red, white, and blue. Then I tore my meniscus in high school and started my broadcasting journey. So soccer has been in my blood since I was a young girl. So now to get the chance to call it is a dream come true. And I also was showing you guys some of the crazy just boards and names and everything, but I'm really excited because it's expanded. So 32 countries for the first time in the Women's World Cup. A lot of countries who were there for the first time, and because of that are going after US born players that are also, you know, have dual nationality to play for their teams. So Ireland is one of the potential Cinderellas of this tournament. They've made it for their first time. And a couple of their players are from Pennsylvania because they have Irish heritage. So a lot of the coaches, you know, from Ireland, the Philippines, all these other countries. So that's what I love, because I flash back to me in '99 falling in love with this and wanting to follow the US women's national team. And I can just see this happening in so many other countries who are at their first World Cup this time around. And I'm, flashing little girls in front of a TV in Vietnam, seeing superstars who are then going to come home and play pro in their country. So I'm excited about how much it's grown since I was a little girl, the reach and the potential of this tournament. And then also the US trying to do something that's never been done before, win a third World Cup in a row, men or women. So it's going to be awesome.
And if that's not going to keep you busy enough, you decided, you know what? I'll call some football too.
See, stupid. I told you, Jason, stupid.
Which isn't new for you. Again, you were the first woman to call an NFL game on the radio. You've covered preseason NFL games. How excited are you to get to call some football games later this summer after you finish with football?
From one football to another football. As you guys can tell, I get bored easily. But I love calling all the sports. I really think that they inform each other. They all have different verbiage and different pacing and stuff, but I learned something about myself as a broadcaster, getting back to always wanting to get better. And I love calling football. I mean, I had to miss a couple of Sixers games at the start of my first season because I was calling a national college football package with Mike Golick, and it's so fun. And when the NFL comes calling, you don't really say no. I know a lot of Eagles fans are giving me a hard time. They're like, well, at least the Seahawks are a bird, so we can give you that.
Wait, who made that argument?
Somebody on social media, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to steal that one. I like that.
I felt bad. You didn't even get to celebrate it because it came out and people thought you were leaving broadcasting the Sixers to go broadcast the Seahawks.
Oh my gosh, thank you for noticing that. This is, you don't get to be mean anymore when you're somebody in my position. But yeah, the Sports Business Journal definitely tweeted out like the new voice of the Seattle Seahawks. You forgot an important word: preseason, y'all. Preseason. But getting back to that, like it was so cool to see so many Sixers fans kind of freaking out. No, you can't leave us yet. As we were talking about, a year after they had been like, go back to California, we don't want you here. So that was some weird blessing in disguise. But yeah, so I love calling football. Preseason's, again, stupid hard. There's 90 guys on a roster, you guys know, as opposed to 52. So it's going to be a lot of work. Just if prepping for 13 countries in the World Cup wasn't enough. But I want to keep those tools sharp just because you never know what the future holds. So we'll see.
What do you see for the U.S. women's team for this World Cup?
I don't think it's going to be as easy as past World Cups have been. It's a transitionary time. No Carly Lloyd, right? Megan Rapinoe's on her last legs. There's some young, incredible superstars. We're definitely seeing the Alex Morgans and Megan Rapinoe's of the future in this World Cup. But how do those two generations mold together? Because we've seen that it can be hard. I think Golden State Warriors, when it comes to the NBA, are a great example. Like, how do you get these aging out stars and the next generation and mold them together? So, and because of the standard that the US set back in '99, all the other countries have been catching up. So keep an eye on Sweden. They've won silver at the last couple of Olympic Games. They've come really close to knocking off the US. And there's some other countries, Spain, Canada, won gold at the Olympics in Tokyo, knocking off the US. So the talent level in some of the big countries across the world has really risen over the last 20 plus years. So the US has the most individual talent, but can they put it together and find that chemistry in order to win? I don't think it's going to be easy by any means.
Normally Jeff would ask the food question, but I'm gonna have to ask, you have a favorite food in the city since coming here?
All of it. You all didn't warn me about the fact that there's a freshman 15 and there's a Philly 15, which would have been fine if I was doing radio for the Sixers. But definitely by about December, January of that first season, I was like, why are my pants so tight? What? This blouse is fitting different than it did before. That's what I tell people. There's so much good food and drink in Philly. And as you guys may know, like, I'm a beer girl, I'm an all the things girl. So I'm not going to say no to a drink or some food. So do you guys have recommendations? Because I've been to, a lot of the big places in the city and they're all delicious, but nobody's paying me. So I don't want to give anybody any shout out. Do you guys have somebody?
Go ahead, Jeff. Give some recommendations.
No, I'm not. No, because I'm not going to be responsible for the Philly 15.
It was worth it though. But even all the big ones, Tallulah's Gardens, Zahav, Laser Wolf, I know, which is a offshoot of
Oh, well,
See, and
Right.
that's how we know we're talking to somebody who's beloved in the city, because most of us can't get in those restaurants.
Oh, but it hasn't been me either. It's been other friends. They're like, let us use your name. I'm like, nobody cares about me. Use your name. Park, Rouge, so many places.
Yeah, see, you're getting in before the 9:15 last slot.
Oh yeah. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Shout out to them for winning a James Beard. So can you tell that I love food?
You'll enjoy Reading Terminal Market too. Go walk around there and have fun.
Oh, I have. I think that was a big reason for the Philly 15.
Oh,
'cause you
okay.
can
Well,
go
so, Jeff,
through-
I'm jumping right in
You
on
can go through all three meals of the day in the span of about an hour and 15 minutes. So, but yeah, love the food here in Philly.
All right, before we let you go, because you have a lot of names to learn. Are we getting past the second round next year?
Oh my gosh. Who's on the team?
That's a
Who do
good
you-
question.
That's the
if they're-
question we have to ask every day. Every time we have one of the beat writers on, they're like, I can't get on the phone yet because I don't know what's going on.
I
And if
know
they're
somebody
on the-
wanted to do a Sixers preview the other day, and I was like, I have no idea what the team is going to look like. It's
And-
July.
If they're on the team in September, will they be on the team in March and April? Who knows?
Exactly. Exactly. It could look completely different from now to October, and then, as you mentioned, from October to February. So I can't make any guarantees this year, but I will guarantee you guys that we're going to get there at some point in my Sixers tenure. I don't know when it's going to be.
Well, how do you prep for that though? I mean, I know that you don't need to do
Pray
a
a
ton
lot.
prep now, but this, I've got to think of all the teams that you've covered. This might be the hardest one to prep for before the season starts because we don't know what's going on.
Yeah, well, and that's why I was like, I'm just going to distract myself by calling World Cup and Seahawks preseason because I don't want to spend time. But I was actually updating my board a little bit yesterday, adding Patrick Beverly and adding Mo Bamba and putting Paul Reed back on there, which is great. And I was actually looking at my board. I was kind of intrigued. Again, this is July, so who knows who's on the team in October. But I was like, okay, Patrick Beverly was always that dude who you hated on opposing teams. And yeah, he's on his last legs, but I've heard really good things behind the scenes. PJ Tucker was huge for the guys last year. Hopefully PJ will play less minutes. Tyrese is just going to get better. Joel's just going to get better. Are Tobias and James still here? We don't know. Paul Reed maybe took a huge step last year. He's just going to get better. And he's the type of player that Nick Nurse likes to use, really long, athletic guys who can run. So I was like, oh, try not to get excited about this, but some good pickups, even though they're quiet. And we all saw Mo, obviously a Westchester guy, but who went back and forth with Joel, bombing threes in my first season. So some intriguing pickups. So no guarantees, but I'm intrigued.
Well, here's my last question. So you said earlier that you get bored very easily. When do you have time to get bored, and do you ever allow yourself just a little bit of time to get bored?
Oh, I need to. Yeah, Jeff, I need to, because as I joked earlier about being exhausted, it has been a grind to get here. And I have turned 40 recently, that it's really important to recharge the battery, because I'm not 22 anymore. And because the NBA season is really long and it is a grind. So next off season, hoping to get a little bit of a break, because I still haven't been down the shore. I mean, what kid moves
Oh,
across the
gotta
country?
get there.
Wow.
I know. Still haven't been down the shore because I've just been working too hard.
Just
So
Study from the shore. That's what you combine the two.
is that it?
Well, I mean, that's what I did. But then again, you don't want to see what my grades turned out like. I'm still hearing about it 20 years later from my parents. So, Kate Scott, we wish you the best of luck in your third year with the team. We can't wait to see the city continue to adopt you as their own, and hope to get to continue to talk to you as you rise.
Thank you, guys. Jason, Jeff, so great chatting with you today. Thanks for having me, and go Sixers. See you soon.
And safe travels.
Thank you.